the promise of peace shattered in the heart of Kyiv. It wasn't soldiers or weapons that were struck, but homes. Before dawn, 600 drones and missiles rained down. Among the dead, children. An assault so vast it stunned even the unshakable. No sign here that Moscow is moving towards peace.
The moment we left the house, the siren was screaming above my head. At this point, you feel horrific primal fear that pierces your body with needles. You just don't know what to do.
The number of dead rose through the day. More casualties pulled from the wreckage of collapsed buildings. British and European Union compounds were hit. The diplomatic stakes raised further.
I'm in front of the British Council, which has been very severely damaged in last night's attack. It's unacceptable.
To the Foreign Office in London, the Russian ambassador to the UK was summoned. His car window lowered just enough for cameras to catch him say nothing when crucial questions were asked.
Are you sabotaging peace, Ambassador?
Tonight, President Zelensky called it a strike not only against Ukraine, but against Europe and against President Trump himself. He wants the US president to feel it as a personal wound, a deliberate slight. But Trump's spokeswoman gave a familiar response, saying both sides should take a share of the blame.
Perhaps both sides of this war are not ready to end it themselves. The president wants it to end, but the leaders of these two countries need it to end and want it to end, must want it to end as well. And I think the president will make some additional statements on this later.
It's 2 weeks now since the red carpet and the applause in Alaska. For those who winced at the warmth of this welcome, the promise was of payback later. This is what it would take to get Putin to meet his real rival, they were told.
We had an extremely productive meeting and many points were agreed to.
And then Washington. Zelensky in his suit with Trump, and then a caravan of European allies acting as advisors and bodyguards. Still a direct meeting said to be the next step. But tonight, the German and French leaders spoke out, saying aloud what they might have suspected all along.
Treffen zwischen Präsident Zelensky und Präsident Putin.
It is clear that a meeting between President Zelensky and President Putin will not take place. This is in contrast to what was agreed between President Trump and President Putin.
His words were chosen with care, because the fear now is that this chapter of the war, generously described as peace negotiations, might be drawing to a close.
Rohit, I mean, it's extraordinary. Alaska and all of those extraordinary meetings at the White House seem as if they're in ancient history now, given what we've seen in the last 24 hours. The Kremlin said it's still interested in talks. There's some pretty bleak words, though, coming from the EU, and not least Friedrich Merz tonight.
Yeah, and from him, that's certainly a change of tone. Through this phase of sort of sycophancy and dishonesty in conversations with Donald Trump, tiptoeing around his sensitivities, it's perhaps the German Chancellor who has spoken with most honesty, and so he did tonight, saying what those European leaders have probably known deep down for several weeks now, that actually there was very little prospect of a meeting between Putin and Zelensky. They're now saying it out loud. Of course, the crucial voice here we haven't heard from yet is President Trump himself. Earlier, his spokesperson said that there would be a statement from him relating to this situation. We haven't heard it yet. Everyone is waiting to see what that says. And perhaps European leaders will be hoping that they see from him a suggestion of consideration of a new wave of sanctions. And perhaps most importantly, the acceptance, or the beginning of the acceptance, that actually Putin, after all, doesn't want a deal.